भाई देख, मैं तो सोचा था नॉटिंघम के अगेंस्ट जीत जाएगा, लेकिन नहीं हुआ ना भाई। अब
अरे
ठीक
भीख
है
भीख 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 मांगना भूल गए भाई।
यार।
मैं मांग रहा हूँ, अभी भीख ही
अरे
मांग
सुन,
रहा। One regular day at this club is all we ask for, but this club always manages to surprise every one of us. The guy who they hired 5 months ago, जिसके लिए इतना फाइट किया न्यूकैसल से, लिटरली कोर्ट केस हुआ. You paid £3 million as a fee to hire him, and you remove him after 5 months. There are two questions: is INEOS project cracking already, or is this blessing in disguise कि उन लोग खुद से ही mistakes repair कर रहे हैं? And also, before I move ahead, welcome back Bucky. Good to see you again. जब से तू गया है तब से 2
are
मैनेजर चेंज हुए
you?
हैं. एक
अब
स्पोर्टिंग
स्पोर्टिंग
डायरेक्टर
डायरेक्टर
हायर
चले
होके
गया
फायर हो गया है. कुछ भी चल रहा है इधर, क्या चल रहा है नहीं पता.
इनियोस प्रोजेक्ट आई डोंट थिंक सो वी कैन कॉल इट क्रैकिंग येट, क्योंकि अभी एक ही साल हुआ है. But none of the early signs have been confidence inspiring. I won't say good or bad. Good and bad, I think so. हम लोग 5 साल बाद जब रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव करेंगे तो बेटर जज कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दे आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड अ क्लब, राइट? टाइम लगेगा ही. But the early signs are not inspiring confidence. Whether it comes on the side of the staff cost cutting that has happened, which looks very chindi, even though everybody understands it's necessary, but initially only it had a very chindi look to it. It didn't have a classy look to it. Then you go on, you raise ticket prices, then you say that, oh, but uh, Fulham shouldn't ever have higher prices than United and all that. Again, another aspect that looked a lot like Chindigiri. And then over and above that, the whole Dan Ashworth situation, how it is played out. You signed him, like I mentioned, you spent money to get him. He came in and he made this very big decision to keep Erik Ten Hag. At the end
Yeah.
of last season, it was Ratcliffe and Berada were more inclined towards sacking him, irrespective of FA Cup jeete ya nahi jeete. But Ashworth thought we should give him an opportunity. In addition to that, you gave him a transfer window where he was allowed to spend almost 200 million. 5 months later, you are without a job. So I don't know what the strategy is. This is something that Nice fans had also complained initially, and there are with a lot of similarities in terms of this type of decision making, what Nice fans had warned us about when Ineos came in. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I think Buggy will tell us more kind of about why this was also not a very surprising thing, depending based on what kind of information has been coming out.
First of all, like you guys mentioned, the news was like quite shocking, and I think more so because the nature of the saga that involved in getting him in the first place. Right? इतना लंबा चला वो न्यूकैसल के साथ negotiation, and then finally him going on gardening leave, and then then him joining, and फिर 5 months के अंदर he is gone. तो थोड़ा obviously shocking है that why would you actually sack somebody so मतलब so fast after having pursued him for such a long time, and after putting in so much of effort to get him in the first place. Coming out from the reports, like Dan Ashford really was kind of singled out in this power
Hmm.
struggle between Omar
Hmm.
Barada and the entire setup in that sense. And even there was a list given of the managers that he wanted to replace Erik Ten Hag with. Okay, which included Eddie Howe, Marco Silva, Thomas Frank, and Graham Potter, even as an interim manager. So I think yes, initial, if you think about it, the initial reaction on this entire saga is that हाँ ठीक है, Ineos is also not that ownership which is going to get everything sorted in its first attempt. If that was a list of managers that he, like Dan Ashworth, wanted to replace Erik Ten Hag with, then I think somewhere Ineos was right.
Hmm.
I am still optimistic. However, there are going to be hiccups. It's just the first year of the ownership, so let's see where it goes.
I think they are still learning while they are doing their jobs. I would say that it was kind of a blessing in disguise in terms of the targets that we were looking at. And
Hmm.
INEOS wanted a very modern coach, which sort of fits in their philosophy, and Ruben Amorim completely fits into their philosophy. And we know one thing for sure about INEOS, that they are not shy or afraid to make bold decisions. And
Hmm.
even if they, like Buggy said, even if they are wrong, they try to rectify it then and there. So
Yeah.
even if it's like short-term pain for long-term gain. So
Ha.
let's see what will happen. But
With I
nobody saw
think
it coming.
on that bit about Ineos sort of being active and cutting the losses immediately. Basically, any they could have waited till the end of
Yeah,
next
yeah,
transfer
cut short,
window.
cut
But
short. Correct.
what is the point of doing that? But I think we are going to see that with Josh Zirkzee as well. I think the way the reports are coming out about Zirkzee, it appears he might be going back to Italy, and I wouldn't be surprised looking at how Ineos अभी तक the kind of operation they've shown is that 6 महीने 8 महीने में if you can't figure out something then ठीक है we'll move on and look for the other thing. But with Dan Ashwood I think there were other things also, like Umar Barada is a very hands-on football executive. He's not like a football executive who'll like let the sporting director operate very freely as such. So I think there was friction there as well between Barada also being very knowledgeable, and sort of he must have had his very strong opinions about who to get in. I think one of the big factors that the athletics reporting pointed out was that Dan Ashworth actually wanted to hire an external agency to
Hmm.
use data to identify who should be the next manager. And this is something that apparently irritated Ratcliffe. That like, dude, I hired you to do this job literally. Now you are coming and telling me that I should outsource this to some other agency. So I guess stylistically also that wouldn't have been a fit. But let's see where it goes from there.
Credit to Athletic where it's due. They credit to Adam Grafton, credit to Laurie Whitwell, credit to David Ornstein. They came up with this report and nobody had an idea. Nobody had
Hmm.
an idea. They came up with this report. Then United's official um, Twitter handle posted a very typical goodbye for Dan Ashworth. And like David Ornstein said, it was not mutual, but it was MUFC led
Correct.
decision.
Ineos led, yeah.
But one thing that I I feel that people have been criticizing the transfer business. Chalo, Erik Ten Hag ka 200 million kitty spend, we will uh, keep it aside. But the transfers that we have made, Euro,
Hmm.
good signing. And we all know
Azrai.
Mazurai, superb signing. Delit still looks solid and he will
Decent, yeah.
be good for sure. Zogzi, we have question marks and we will see what happens there. Ugarte is, getting that rhythm back.
Yeah.
Ex Amorim player, he will have
Yeah.
a good season ahead, I feel. So, business bura nahi tha. And if you look at the fee, that fees, those were like,
Hmm.
clubs were demanding from MUFC. Those were pretty high, but we negotiated and it came down to the fee, whatever it was at the end. But again, there was one report that he wanted Branthwaite rather than Delit. I mean,
Dan Ashworth,
after
yeah.
that, after that Everton game, everyone actually knows who's the better player. And obviously, Delit comes with an European experience. He's still at Everton. He's still very young.
Older
And
also, comparatively.
correct, correct. 3 years older to Branthwaite. But overall, ठीक है, I mean, shake hands, move on.
Yeah.
It's just an English fetish that he had. I don't know what
Yeah.
is
I
what
don't
is
think so.
this
It was
thing.
a fetish. I think he's always worked in English football only. So he just, by
ठीक है,
nature
but
of that, he just knows English managers and players.
see, even in the few reports that and articles that I was looking at, what they had actually mentioned is that the problem with Ashford was also that he didn't change his approach, okay, his demeanor, the way he wants to work. So like
Hmm.
he had a very good organization and operation head, but he was not somebody who was very hands-on with his work. So
Hmm.
like how Azman was mentioning that वो agency को दो, but काम तो तुमको दिया है ना, so you should be doing it.
Hmm.
And like I think ultimately, let's see. It's too early of a call to judge INEOS. It's just like their first few months. I think some of the signs are promising. Even in this departure, there are good signs, I would say, although shocking, very honestly. Because if let's say INEOS is saying, "Ke, uh, Dan Ashworth then do his due diligence to, sack Ten Hag or maybe like, keep Ten Hag and have all this chaos going on for another 2 to 3 months. Where was Ineos's due diligence in hiring Dan Ashworth in the first place? Okay. So, I mean, ठीक है, fine. होता है mistakes. The faster we move on, I think it's better. I like this new approach where we are supposedly having a no nonsense owner, but उसका भी एक लिमिट होगा. I guess वो बाद में पता चलेगा. अब वो जब तक जल रहा है
Hmm.
तब तक चलने दो. Like I
Like
feel.
Yeah.
I think yeah, this part about them making bold cuts na, it can also be
Hmm.
a sort of like a double-edged sword. Yani ठीक है, it is good that they are able to cut their losses quickly,
Hmm.
but if you also look at it, अगर तू एक 12 महीने के स्पैन में तीन या
Hmm.
चार बड़े मेजर डिसीजंस के साथ तेरा सिमिलर पैटर्न रिपीट हो रहा है, where you are
Hmm.
hesitating and then allowing it to go on and then suddenly realizing let's cut our losses, so that also reflects ke you are also making that many mistakes consistently and these are not cheap mistakes यार. ये PSR को impact करेगा ना तुम्हारे. तुमने
Hmm.
basically Dan Ashworth को एज अ प्लेयर का अमाउंट खर्चा करके साइन किया था. इट wasn't like a, for a sporting director, it was not cheap how we got him. And then
Yeah.
he also kept allowed ETH to stay, which was sort of an additional cost. So yeah, I mean like they need to, एक बड़ा mistake in 12 months ठीक है, I can look past it, but when it happens again and again every 3-4 months then you start being a bit jittery. But it's also like United fans के पास option नहीं है, तो just like अभी यही
Yeah.
है, otherwise it's Glazers.
Yes. This is better than Glazers for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I have one concern regarding Jim Ratcliffe micromanaging everything, taking decisions, blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
to be fair on his side, if you think that man has put 1.3 billion from his
Yeah.
own pocket to this club,
Yeah.
so at the start maybe he will think that okay, wait, let me take these bad decisions or good decisions, whichever, however, any fan wanted to pursue or see. I will make sure that these things will happen, and then I will make sure that this will be an automated process going ahead. So maybe this is the thinking. I'll give him a benefit of doubt for that. But like I said, Miko, I mean, shocking, yes, but don't
See,
really care.
ultimately what will matter is that if we start winning on the pitch or not. अगर
Correct.
Yeah.
यही सब अभी हो रहा होता and we were probably let's say sitting second in the league table,
Hmm.
say 4
Hmm.
points off the top, would you have cared that Dan
Wouldn't have
Ashworth
mattered.
gaya?
Wouldn't have
Nobody would have
mattered.
cared कौन गया. So it is just I think अगर वो लोग रिजल्ट्स लाना स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं तो फिर उसके बैकग्राउंड में
Hmm.
कुछ भी हो, most fans won't care about it.
As a fan, I want to set my expectation now with this club. ठीक है.
Okay, wait,
That
wait.
is
Sorry,
that is my
before
purpose.
before you go ahead,
हाँ.
you still have
हाँ.
any expectation from this club? Is
हाँ. ठीक
just
है, मतलब देख
मेरे में
भाई.
भी कोई एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं है.
भाई देख, मैं तो सोचा था नॉटिंघम के अगेंस्ट जीत जाएगा, लेकिन नहीं हुआ ना भाई. अब अब क्या बोलूं भाई, नॉटिंघम से भी एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करूं क्या?
Bro,
ये
Nottingham
क्लब
is a
जीतेगा
good
नहीं.
team this season. I mean, they
Yeah,
are
but
अरे
still
fine.
यार,
Like,
that's still
भाई, ओल्ड ट्रैफिड पे मैच था, तुमको पता है ना.
bro, Old Trafford.
is right.
अरे क्या
फर्स्ट
वापस से
90
वही बात
सेकंड
कर
मतलब
रहे हो?
दे
अबे
स्कोर्ड सुन ना, they scored twice, मतलब at the मतलब at the start of the game, मतलब
half
दोनों
time,
half
yeah.
में within 90 seconds. भाई
And
कुछ
we
भी हो रहा है
conceded
भाई.
one goal from the corner again, right at the start of the game. I mean,
भाई
what was that?
ये तो हम लोग 2-1 जीते रहते, ये ओनाना ने 2 मिस्टेक्स किया है.
We
But anyway,
ठीक है, वो
let's
अलग
keep this
टॉपिक
for,
let it go with Dan Ashworth.
yeah.
अरे
है. ठीक है
भीख मांगना भूल गए भाई.
यार.
हाँ, मैं मांग रहा हूँ, अभी भीख ही
अरे
मांग
सुन
रहा
सुन
है.
सुन 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 सुन.
Cool. So on that note, thank you very much for watching this. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Press on that bell notification icon, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.